Hello everyone, it's Dawn here from Dawn's Inspirations. Today I wanted to share a card with you. This is a card that's been made by one of my scrapbook ladies. Her name's Jean Bonsall, and she's made this beautiful slider card, and it's got a lovely mechanism with the greeting inside that you pull out on a slider. So she's coloured this in, she's done a lovely stamp, coloured it in and glittered it. I don't know whether you can see all the detail there, but it's absolutely beautiful, and I don't know whether the camera's doing it justice. It's a lovely slider card, and a lot of the ladies at the scrapbooking club asked if I'd do a video tutorial on this for you. So I'm going to share it with you today, but you know me, I've taken it one step further as well, and on the next video you'll be able to see how to make a slider album. So I'm going to start off with showing you how to make this basic card. Now I looked at Jean's, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to make one to fit inside a C6 envelope. Jean's is just a little bit wider than that for me, but I wanted to make one to fit into an envelope so people can then just go and buy a C6 envelope and make their cards then to go inside them. So the measurements I'm going to give you today are to go with the C6 envelope. So I'm going to start off with a piece of cardstock that measures 6.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then we're going to score that. We're going to score along the short side, which is a 6.5 inch side, and I want you to score down at 6 inches. And you know me, I'm going to twizzle over and do exactly the same on the other side. And then on the long side, do a quarter turn, on the long side, the 8.5 inch side, I then want you to score at 4 inches and 8 inches. I'm just going to flip that over so I can score again on the other side. So that's all my score lines. The other thing you're going to need to do is to cut your inside for your slider card, and this is just a piece of card, and this is measuring 3 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches. I will put these measurements on my website, so if you want to go ahead and check out the website, you'll see the measurements on there. So we're going to put that to one side. We now need to burnish these score lines. So just fold everything over and give them a good burnish. On that side, and then again on this side. So now your piece of paper should be looking like that. So you've got all your score lines burnished. The next thing we're going to do is to cut this top section off. So I'm putting a slight mitre, and I'm going to go along and just cut that top section off. Okay. So that's that piece taken away. And then here where we've got the two folds, you've got a little square here. I want that mitered so you have a nice finish. So I'm just cutting that corner off. So when we glue down, we've got a nice mitered corner. Okay, so we don't need those two bits. We'll pop those to one side. Now before we actually stick down, you need a circle punch. Now I seem to have mislaid my circle punch. I've used it for a project and can't find it, because the circle punch, if you look at Jean's original card, is to cut a little circle out at the top. Okay, so for the purposes I'm going to use my decorative side punch. So as long as I can get it in partly into cut, which I struggle a bit with. Not going in too far. Circle punch is better. So you've got a punch mark like that, and then the next thing you do is to stick your sides down. So I'm just going to get a tape runner here just to show you quickly how this goes. Bring that together, and then that's your pocket, and then your card then goes inside your pocket. Okay. So now I'm going to take it that step further. Here's one that I've already got ready. This is one I've made ready for Father's Day, and I've used the Tripography Graphic 45 paper on this. So I've got my wallet, same measurements. I've used my circle punch, and I've used that also to cut out the paper. I've 3D'd some of the elements on here, saying Dad, to make that a bit more three-dimensional. And then for my card inside, I've backed that with some of the paper. I thought I can pop a little photograph on the back there, and then I've just left this blank. So I thought the children like to write some little elements, and we will to Dad for Father's Day. So the next thing we now need to do is to get your crocodile, because we now need to make the hole to slide our ribbon. So we need to put our crocodile in. This is best, I think, done once you've decorated everything. Otherwise it's hard to line everything up with your paper collection. Because I don't want that to, I'm just going to move these bits to a flat one. And I'm going to use the biggest hole on my crocodile punch. Actually, I'll take it in that way. So I'll just eyeball in the centre. If you don't feel confident about eyeballing the centre, what you can do is with your pen, just make a mark where you want your hole to be. Okay? So you can do it one of two ways. So as I say, I'm using the bigger punch here today. So I'm just going to pop that down. So that's made my hole. Okay? I've got the length of ribbon. For this I've used a piece of ribbon. This is matching obviously my cardstock, and the same with what Jean's done here. She picks them out to match her cardstock and papers. And this is 24 inches, I think. Let me just check that with you. Yes, that's about 24 inches long. You need it long enough to be able to wrap it down and also tie a nice bow. So the first thing we're going to do is to pop it through the hole. Through the hole. I'll cut it on an angle and it's still a bit fiddly. Now you need to have your ribbon laying nice and flat. Okay, and then so I've got my ribbon threaded through, as you can see, and it's laying nice and flat. And then what you need to do is to put your card the way you want it facing when you slide outwards, and just slide that down. Now I'm going to need to pull a bit more out. Okay, so that's now slid in, and then I've got all this left to tie a nice bow with. I've got a bit more length on this one. We'll see how we get on. I might just jiggle about with it to get a nice bow. So just take your time with tying a nice bow. As I say, I've got 24 inches of ribbon here, and I probably don't need quite as much of that, but I'd rather have too much and trim a little piece off than not quite enough. So I'm just going to give that a tug to tie that up. As I say, this can be put away for Father's Day, but it could be a birthday card as well, so I'm happy with that now. So I'm just going to trim these pieces of ribbon off now. Put a nice angle on those. Over to one side, and that's the slider card. And what you do is you get hold of the ribbon to pull it up. Okay, so that is your slider card, and that measurement will fit quite nicely into the C6 envelope. Just tuck the ribbon in there. Okay, so that fits quite nicely in the C6 envelope. So that's my slider card, and here's Jean's that's a little bit bigger. So I hope you've enjoyed the video tutorial. As I say, the next video in the playlist is going to be how to make a slider card mini album. So if you'd like to join me and make a mini album with this, just have a look at the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.